Hi there, Huskies. This is Miss Monterre here. We're going to go over lesson 1 about integers, opposites, and absolute value. So yesterday you were supposed to work on this notebook and this lesson, but many of you have told me that you were very confused about it, and that's okay. So I made this video to help you go over what you need to do. Don't worry about the quiz section. I'm going to go ahead and jump here. Don't worry about the quiz tracker here, okay? What we're just focusing is the number section here, okay? So I want to go over our notebook together. This is our Unit 1 word wall. You have all the different vocabulary words that we're going to need to know for this section. And now I want to go over unit vocabulary really quick, okay? So to understand first what a integer is, I want to go over that with you. Okay. So when we're talking about integers, there's a quick thing that I want to let you know. So an integer is any whole number that is negative and positive. Okay. So basically all those negative and positive numbers on a number line is going to be an integer. Okay. What's not going to be an integer is a fraction. So I'm going to put right here, except or a fraction. Okay? So here's an example of what is an integer. 5 and negative 5. These are both integers. Okay? Integer is a whole number, not a fraction. Remember that, okay? Integers are a whole number, not a fraction. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight that just so to help me remember whenever I'm having a hard time remembering. Okay, so I know that integers, basically any whole number that is negative or positive. Amazing, woohoo. So we're going to go ahead and go over another key vocabulary word. So you're going to hear a lot about opposites. So I'm going to write the word opposites here, and then I'm going to highlight that in yellow because that's another key vocabulary word. Oh my goodness. There we go. Okay. So opposites, let me be clear, is any two numbers. Let me fix that. Oops. That's not what I was aiming for. Sometimes you just got to go with the flow. Okay. Oh, definitely not what I was going for. Okay, let's fix this. Now is it going to work? Nope. Okay. Transparent? There. Okay. So opposites are any two numbers if on a number line that is the same distance from 0. So that just means, an example, that 5, right, is on the right-hand side of the number line, is going to be the opposite of negative 5. And negative 5 is going to be the opposite of a positive number. So negative, so 5 is the opposite of negative 5, and vice versa. Negative 5 is the opposite of 5. So no matter where you go around, just know that opposites, you have a positive, you get a negative. If you have a negative, you have a positive, okay? It's just opposite. All right, so another key detail I want to go by is absolute value. You're going to hear a lot about absolute value. And let's quickly review what that is. Okay. So, absolute value, highlight that in yellow, Absolute value is a number. It's a number's distance. So it's a number's distance on a number line. Okay, and we'll go over the number line in just a moment. So basically, if I'm trying to find the distance between -3 and 3 on a number line, it's going to equal a total of 3 units. Okay, so let me go ahead and draw that out, what that looks like. So if I'm drawing it out, right, this is 0 in the middle, this is the positive section, and this is the negative section. My absolute value, if I'm trying to find that, is that, okay, so I have 1, 2, 3. And then I have -3. 1, 2, 3. Okay? So I could see here that from 0, okay, so it's a distance between two numbers, okay, in between 0. So my absolute value, I'm going to draw in blue. My absolute value is how many steps from 0 it takes me to get to this number, okay? Okay. So if I jump on my number line, let's count. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there's 3 units I have to jump to get to 3. Now, if I need to jump to get to -3, this is negative, I'm going to jump. 1, 2, 3. That's going to stay at -3, okay? So I know that my absolute value going from the positive section to the negative section is 3 units, going both ways, okay? So that would be my absolute value. Now, I'm not counting all of the jumps I made all together, but just only from 0, okay? So if you get a number, an absolute value where it asks you to find the absolute value of like 5 and -2, right? You have to count what the value is from 0 for the 5 and then the 2, and those would be different numbers, okay? But just remember, absolute value starts from the 0. Okay? So let's go ahead and continue. You done with that? Okay, so I'm going to clear that. So this is what we're going to do next. Let me go ahead and fix the pen. Okay. So now I'm going to go down to what we went over lesson 1, integers, opposites, and absolute value. So now that we know what those terms are, I'm going to go ahead and let's go to our digital classroom and let's figure out what this means. So our objective says I can identify an integer, its opposite, and absolute value on the number lines. So the first thing I need to know, remember, integers are all numbers that are both positive and negative, right? So here's some examples. Negative numbers are less than 0 and they represent a loss or a decrease. For example, a bank has withdrawal of $30. So if I withdraw money from my bank, that's -30, right? I'm taking away 30. If I have a decrease of 9 points on, let's say, a game, I'm -9. If it's 2 degrees below 0, that's -2. So if you're going around doing your increase here, so let's go ahead and read here. An increase of 3 points would be adding a 3. Earning of $25 would be that I earned $25. Let's say I have a loss of 15 yards. That's a loss. That means I'm taking it away, right? I don't have those yards anymore. I'm going to put -15. So you should have that in the first 1, 3, and 5. Now let's go over positive numbers really quick. So positive means greater than 0, and it represents a gain or an increase. It means I'm getting more. Okay, it's like addition. So I'm an increase of 10 points. A flower grows, right? Anything that increases grows, and a gain of 15 yards. I'm gaining something. So when we're talking about spending $10, if I spend something, if I make money, I make moolah, I want to keep that moolah. But then I'm spending it away, that's negative 10 there. Now, if I'm depositing $250, I got $250 as my paycheck, I'm rich, then I'm putting it into my bank account. So that means I'm adding plus 250. Okay? That's a positive number. So with positives, we don't need to put that extra, plus sign. We know it's, you're adding it. So descending means you're decreasing. Anything with D-E in the beginning means you're D. It means it's going down. So that's descending 12 feet. That's negative 12. Okay. Now, if we jump into slide 7, we're talking about integer keywords. We have to drag, so we look at the directions. We drag each word and match it to the correct category. So let's go ahead and do it together. So we have our positive, 0, and negative. Okay, I know deposit means I'm taking away, so that's going to be negative. Oh, I'm sorry. Deposit is positive, so I'm going to put it here. Profit, what is what I gained, so I'm going to put profit, right? If a business has a profit, you're gaining something. Earn is going to be positive. Ground floor is 0. That means I'm starting at 0. Above sea level is going to be positive. A decrease is going to be negative. Sea level is going to be in the middle, 0. Reduce is going to be negative. Below sea level, anything that's below means we're going down in negative. So that's below, that's negative. Neutral means it's neither negative or positive. 0 is neutral. Increase is positive. Decline is negative. Ascend means you're going up. Descend means you're going down. Withdraw means you're taking away money. And tie and balance is in the middle. Okay? So you have all of these categories that either means that means it's negative, positive, or in the middle, right? Where it's like neutral. Like 0, it's just 0. You can't really do anything with 0. Now here's an example of our number line here, right? So we know that opposites are numbers that are the same distance from 0 on a number line, but in different directions. Like I said, negative 3 and 3 are opposites of each other. So what we're doing is we're going to type the opposite of the number in the green box. Then graph each integer, each number, on its opposite number line. And the first one is done for you. So look, negative 9 to 9. Then I have negative 1. So I'm going to go ahead. I know the opposite of negative 1 is 1. So I'm going to drag this to negative 1 to 1. And you can see that I dragged it. It dragged it. So then you have negative 5. The opposite of negative 5 is 5. So I go ahead and drag the yellow markers from 5 on the number line, negative 5 to 5. The opposite of positive 6 is negative 6. Put that there. And I'm dragging my green marker, okay, from negative 6, right, to 6. And those are the opposites on a number line. Okay, so you should have had that down. We go to slide number 8, and now it's talking about the absolute value. So we know that the absolute value of any number is its distance from 0 on a number line, okay? Because distance is always positive or 0. Absolute value is always positive or 0. So let's go ahead and try this. That's the symbol for absolute value, right? So if I have 4 units, negative 4, the absolute value is 4 from the 0. If I have 4 units, that's just 4. So 3, negative 3 is 3, 0, of course, is 0. You don't move anything from the number line. Negative 1 to 3/4 is just going to be 3/4. So that's negative. You turn it into a regular positive, right? Because you're just moving 3/4 from the 0. You have 5, so that's going to be just 5. Negative 0.8 is just going to be 0.8. And negative 2 is just going to be 2. All right. So again, we're just moving from what is the 0 over to whatever. It's not positive or negative here, okay? So just remember that. Now, here's more practice. Drag the answers on the right to match the correct phrase. The absolute value of 15 is going to be 15. A negative integer, I'm just going to pick, it's any negative. So I'm just going to pick negative 5. Let's just try that. Negative 5. The opposite of negative 7, that's 7. It's a positive. The opposite of 7 is negative 7, right? Because we're talking about positives and opposites, I mean. Negative 15 is just, okay. It's just going to be the absolute value of, that one's actually a little hard. So a positive integer is 5. Okay. So it could be either or, because with negative 15, you can have it up here for 15 or up down here. So it's just really just about the units. So I'm not sure why there's a negative here, but you don't need to have that negative. So it's just 15 and 15. Okay. So number 7 says, Alex has been absent from class. How would you explain in your own words the difference between opposite and absolute value? Okay. So let's go ahead and think about it. If someone has been absent, that means they're not there. Okay. Let's say they were absent for 5 days. Okay. So Alex, has been absent for 5 days. So you're kind of giving me an example. The opposite of 5 days right, of negative 5 days of not being here is being here for 5 days. So positive 5, right? The absolute value is 5, because if we were going to go on a number line, that would be 5 away from 0, no matter what. So you're just kind of giving me an example of what absolute value is and what opposite value it is, okay? So that's kind of the big idea when it comes to lesson 1, all right? Okay, make sure you do your work, because this was due on Tuesday, September 21st.